Okay, good morning, everyone. So, uh, welcome to our industrial webinar of Raspberry Pi in smart manufacturing. So, today we are going to discuss about how Raspberry Pi play a significant role in industrial and smart manufacturing. So, today with us we have guests, and we also have our staff from Citron where we discuss. So viewers also welcome to ask any question in the comment. So we will pick any question during the Q&A session. Okay, so feel free to ask anything. Okay, all right. Also, don't forget to register for our forum update and regular update about our industrial content and newsletter. All right. So our today's agenda, we're going to have opening and speaker introduction, and then we're going to have in introduction about Raspberry Pi in industry, and then we're going to learn about what is actually smart manufacturing, and then we're going to go into Raspberry Pi use case in smart manufacturing, and then we're also going to share with you our customization service based on our industrial controller and also from our guest, okay, our guest customization service. So our guest is actually from Intellogic Technology Sendian Berhad, okay. So we are going to have our discussion shortly. So let's welcome our guest, Mr. Sean Lim. Okay.
Hi,
So good morning,
hello.
Mr. Sean.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Kayum.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone.
So Mr. Sean is actually a technology and innovation director at Intellogic Technology. So he have very vast experience in handling smart manufacturing and IoT in industrial. So how about tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so hi. So I'm actually ex Mercedes-Benz engineer, and I'm actually working on the IT and the OT side of thing as well. Currently working as the technology and innovation director in Intellogic Technology. Um, and we recently basically founded a new product called MACHHUB, which is a collaboration product and a project with Citron. We have been in this industry for around 20 over years. And that is
Okay.
why we are
Right.
we are here.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Sean Lim. So there's a lot of experience. We hope that we are going to have very beneficial sharing knowledge today. Okay, and then we also have Mr. Ober Cho Sui Hong from Citron Technology, Chief Product Officer. Good morning, Mr. Ober.
Morning, Kuyo. Morning, Sean. Morning,
Hi,
everyone.
morning, Albert.
I think I don't need to introduce myself, lah.
Okay,
I
so
I've been attending the webinar. I have been always attending the webinar
yeah, so if
together with Idris, together with the
mhm,
other speaker.
mhm. So everyone, so this is Mr. Ober. So whoever already know, so Mr. Ober, whoever new here, Mr. Ober is our Chief Product Officer of Citron Technologies Neighborhood. Right. So shall we get start on our webinar?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So we start with understanding Raspberry Pi in industry. Previously, we know that Raspberry Pi are only popular in school or makers or hobbies. So now we're going into industry, like how industry can benefit from the Raspberry Pi in the industrial environment. So, Mr. Ober.
Yeah, actually, Kuyum is right. Previously, when Raspberry Pi started, their mission is to increase the interest of tertiary and even school student in digital making, including software and also hardware. So that's why they come up with a low cost, what they call single board computer. So the picture shows. So actually the picture shows is, I think this is 3B plus at the bottom. Then at the top, at the side, there is actually the latest Pi 5. Okay. So now it have gone through 5 revision on the single board computer. And if you are looking at the picture, you see a bare board. It doesn't assemble a laptop, right, or a computer, but it's a working computer motherboard. What you need to do is just add in a SD card, micro SD card, with Raspberry Pi OS or any compatible OS. And most of the OS for Raspberry Pi are free. So of course, the official one is Raspberry Pi OS. You can use it. A lot of people use it. I'm sure Sean use it also. Then those are free. You don't need to pay. It's not like Windows. You need to upgrade. You want to pro version or home version or student version. All version you don't need to pay for Raspberry Pi OS. So you need an SD card with the OS. You can download the OS. You can get the preloaded Raspberry Pi OS SD card from us, from other reseller also. Then what else you need? If you have monitor, what we call, you need to set up a proper computer. You plug in the HDMI port. There's two HDMI port on Pi 5 and Pi 4. Then the last one, if you don't want any keyboard or mouse, you can plug in the USB-C power supply. Then you have a working computer already. But if you want to see what is going on, you need a mouse and also keyboard to operate the Windows. But in industry, normally we don't use mouse and keyboard. We call this a headless setup. So anyway, what you see now, this slide actually show the basic Raspberry Pi single board computer. But since few years ago, they have actually come up with what they call compute module. So next slide, please, Guillaume. So this is compute module, and specifically this is actually CM4. If you look at it, CM4 and CM5, CM5 just launched, I think 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. Similar outlook, same dimension, but it's more powerful. So let's look at CM4. What do you have on CM4, and why is that features on CM4? The first, CM4 actually take the power, the CPU. So the CPU is same as Pi 4, 4B, Pi 4B. Then what else? The RAM, you have 4 variants, sorry. So you have 1 GB, 2 GB, 4 GB, and 8 GB. So it's similar with Pi 4. Then what you don't have on Pi 4, but CM4 have, is actually the eMMC memory. So we have been, some industries started using Pi 3 and also Pi 4. But one of the problem that they face is the micro SD card corrupt. Sean, you faced before, though.
Yes, always, and that's the reason we come to you guys.
So that's one of the reasons why CM4 come with the option with eMMC built in. So basically, eMMC is the storage, okay? Beside the RAM is the memory, and there are different kind of capacity for the eMMC also. So for CM4, it started with light, where you don't have eMMC at all. Light version will require external storage. Either you can use micro SD card or SSD. So they are both compatible for CM4. Then 8 gig of eMMC, 16 gig, and the highest is 32 GB, 32 gig. So beside the eMMC, the wireless is built in also if you choose to have the wireless. Because for CM4, there are 32 variants, for you to choose from. So if you choose the one that have wireless, you get the same wireless spec on the Pi 4 also, which is dual band Wi-Fi 2.4G and 5G, then Bluetooth 5.0 and BLE. Okay, and another things that good on CM4 is it's very compact. So what CM4 take from Pi 4 is the processor, the RAM, built-in eMMC, the wireless part, and the power supply, the PMIC, power management IC, then the gigabit physical, okay, the 5. Then what I like about the CM4, but Pi 4 doesn't have, beside what I highlight just now, is the external antenna. So with external antenna, you can enclose your CM4 or your carrier board with a proper metal case for industry. Because industry is using in harsh environment, so they need a proper protection. But if you use Pi 4 only, the Pi 4 antenna is on the PCB. You cannot do anything. You can't even extend it out. But with CM4, there is a choice. The CM4 have built-in PCB antenna. If you don't want to extend out, you can use the PCB antenna, no problem. Or you want to enclose it with a proper case, you have the choice to extend out the antenna with the external antenna. So that is one of the features that I like. Okay. So that's the compute module. And compute module is being designed for industry. So Raspberry Pi is not only being used in academic or education anymore. Industrial, for example, Sean have been using Raspberry Pi for a lot of application, which Sean will share later on. Okay.
Okay. So to understand, we simplify that Raspberry Pi 7 4 is basically almost have the same power as normal Raspberry Pi 4, but then we
Yep.
remove all the unnecessary GPIO and interface. So we use what we only need lah in industry.
Yep.
Okay. So
So
this
this is
is
the advantage of the Raspberry Pi ecosystem. Because CM4 and CM5 share the same benefit. The first one is the software ecosystem. So not only the Raspberry Pi OS or the other OS is free, but it also support a lot of programming language, for example, Python. Those are also free. Node-RED are also free. Grafana, a beautiful dashboard. Codices is for you to program in PLC alike kind of interface. Ignition also similar, block-based. But Codices and Ignition, there is a paid version. Then it also support a lot of protocol for industry. Modbus, TCP, RTU is being commonly used. OPC UA, MQTT, we know IoT use a lot for devices, RESTful API, and more. Okay. Then because CM5 and CM4 are compute module, it take away all the ports. You need to have a carrier board, right? Carrier board. So you can design whatever port or interface that you want. So one example here is Pi 4 doesn't have what we call the ICE Wi-Fi or ICE22. The industry use that a lot. So you can design that in ICE Wi-Fi, ICE22. Then the digital I/O on the Pi 4 is not protected. So let's say you put in 10 volt, 12 volt interface, you directly burn the Pi 4. But for industry, we will design an isolated digital input or digital output. So that will help the industrial product or the industrial controller to be very robust. Okay. So all this kind of interface then multiple function. It can be PLC, it can be gateway, IIoT gateway, edge controller, even server. In some cases, we also see some user actually use the Raspberry Pi as the mini server, in-house mini server. Okay. Then of course the last one is the customizable hardware. Okay. Thanks.
okay. Thank you, Mr. Ober, for the explanation. So we already know about Raspberry Pi in industry. Now we know that Raspberry Pi is actually capable of being used in industry alongside with all the industrial get PLC controller or HMI. Okay, so now we're going to talk about what is actually smart manufacturing. So I welcome Mr. Sean to share.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So what is smart manufacturing? Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So before we understand what is smart manufacturing, we first need to understand what is what we have been gone through as a human race, right? Through the industrial revolution, right? Yeah. So before even talking about IR4 and all this IR1 and 2 and stuff like that, let's talk about what happens before industrial revolution, right? So before industrial revolution, which is what we call a pre-industrial era, which everything is just more towards agricultural, and it's artisan based, so everything is customized and built for a small community. So because everything is man-powered, so it will be a limited production capability lah, right? So then after someone thought about the steam engine, and then things went to the next one, which is the IR one, which is the Industrial Revolution one. That is where we use water and steam powered systems, build machines, and that is where factories came out first, right? So they use steam to power the mechanism, some mechanical mechanism to push something or do some work, something like that. And that is the Industrial Revolution, first Industrial Revolution. And the second Industrial Revolution is where standardizations comes in, because based on the experience that they have been gone through building machines and stuff like that, they have standardized the bolts and nuts, the screw and screwdrivers, and even like some mountings and stuff like that. And that is IR2, and mass production, it will actually has a much more high power capability of manufacturing, as well as electrical. So that is where electrical powered machines came in, and automotive manufacturing. So that is the first car. Ford has created their first car during that times, and assembly line. So because of automotive, so assembly line is where it first created during the second revolution. And after that, which is most of us where we are, which is the third industrial revolution. Actually, the current revolution should be fourth, but third is where we most factory in Malaysia is, which is on the automation side, manufacturing processes automation. So it automates the process of manufacturing, and then you have PLCs, computerized machines, and robotics, like 6-axis robotics as well. And all those are actually on the third industrial revolution. So most of them actually is confused that robotics is on the third revolution, right? So that is actually wrong. It's actually on the third industrial revolution. It's not on the fourth, right? Yeah. So with all this IR, what is IR for, right? So IR for, let's see what the government says, right? Next slide. Okay. So this is our Malaysia's NIMP roadmap for the national policy. So 2023. The new government actually created this, and for our side on manufacturing, what we actually focus most is on the mission 2. So next slide. Yeah, mission 2. Yeah. Okay. And what this mission 2 says is to take up a digital vibrant nation. And based on that, the government actually created this MVP, which is a project that they are doing, is to transform 3,000 smart factories in Malaysia, right? And what is the goal? Is they want to aim to drive adoption of IR4 technologies. And then what is the goal of smart manufacturing is basically this, and the next one, which is first, they need to you can go to the first one first. Yeah. First is to basically create incorporate intelligent and integrated process through cyber and physical and human domain. So there's actually 3 domains. One is the IT domain, physical is the manufacturing machines, and the human domain, which is us. So we need them connected. So that is actually IR4. This is the first thing of IR4. And next is this, which is to incorporate all the company's value chains. So including up to accounting, stock and delivery, and even the customer, even the product itself, all the data must be connected and used. It's basically a data-driven decision making throughout your whole organization. So this is digital IR4 actually, right? So next slide, please. Yeah, so based on a very famous IR4 guru in the internet, which is Walker Reynolds. He's based in US, but he's actually the one that leads quite a lot of digital transformation in US, right? And what he says is the goal of IR4 is to achieve an industrial or manufacturing holy grail. And what is the industrial manufacturing holy grail is actually to have a fully integrated business made up of digital factories, right? So digital factories are actually just it's not just your factory that needs to be digitalized actually. So in IR4, your whole business needs to be digitalized and connected, and that is the goal of IR4, right? It's not just about adopting technologies. Okay, so those technologies are just enablers, right? So next slide. Yeah, so this is a brief
Before that,
image.
Mr. Sean, we have actually we have one question. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're going to
Sorry,
have
I missed it.
3,000 factories by 2030. So it's another
Yeah.
6 years. So how about now? From your experience, how many factories actually are considered 4.0 or maybe percentage, like how many percentage of
Yeah,
factory?
I would say IR4 factories, most of the factories right now is still not IR4, fully IR4. Because to have a fully closed loop integrated business, every part of your business must be connected, right? And even the biggest or the strongest digitally transformed company like Amazon or Tesla, they are still not yet fully connected. I would say so like that. So
Okay.
I think what is the goal of the business of the government is most probably on having digital factories or those factories that in their opinion has the most technology advancement, I would say.
Okay.
Are we
Thank you.
still at IR2? Someone says that.
Yeah, IR3. Okay.
Yeah, that is possibly part of our of some business right now is still using manual labels. I think quite a
Mhm.
lot is still using manual labels. So to adopt IR4, I would say we should do it both lah. So part of your
Mhm.
business can be digitally transformed while you are still doing your IR3 or automation stuff lah. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just continue on my last few slides. So the main thing to have a connected business, you will need to connect every part of your business, including your product, back to your design and manufacturing. And to do that, the most important thing is the architecture. So let's say I want to connect this kind of business, like a manufacturing, mixing, or chemical packaging company, right? So for me to connect everybody, so what I will do is to do the next slide. Basically connecting one by one. So this is actually what most people or SI is doing right now, which is connecting one by one, project by project. So a customer says, I want to connect, I want to know this information and I want to connect it to my ERP system. Then what they will do is they will just do a project and then just connect, have a middleware to get the data from the machine and then put it back to the ERP system. So then for next time they want to say, I want to add another machine, they will just do the same thing, right? So you will come up with things like this, very messy, and every time you want to change something or add something, it will be a whole big project, right? So what we do to have a better architecture in this case is to connect it to a centralized system or data exchange, which what we call a unified namespace, right? So unified namespace is actually a broker or a centralized place where data, your real-time data is exchanged in real time. How real time? Sub-seconds. You can reach until that situation, right? So yeah, so this is what we propose, right? Everybody should can consider this to have a unified namespace in your business, right? And a typical setup of a unified namespace is something like the next slide. It's like this. So if you have a IIoT ready PLC, you can simply directly connect to your unified namespace, right? Directly. But if you have a legacy PLC or a legacy system or manual or maybe even human-based system, you need you can just simply get an IIoT gateway, something like a Raspberry Pi or our product MACHHUB, right? So once you have connected to a unified namespace, you can actually connect to any other system like ERP or Historian, or even any other application that you have like CMMS or something like that. And you do not need to connect directly to your PC, to your machines. You just need to connect to your unified namespace. You will be able to subscribe to all the latest updates, right? So yeah, so that is the goal. And even your ERP can actually, or your application can actually publish back real-time data or insights back to the unified namespace so that your machines can actually use that data, right? So let's say you want to set the parameter of this machine. You can actually do a AI inferencing based on the data through another application, subscribe from your UNS, inference, push it back, push the insight back, maybe a parameter setting for the machine, and the machine will directly react to the new changes. This is how powerful unified namespace can do, right? Yeah. Someone asked about namespace. Is it same as cloud native namespace? I'm not too sure what do you mean like cloud native namespace. Maybe you can clarify a little on that. Yeah, but the namespace here is actually how you organize your data, right? Unified namespace is how you organize your data. And it's a centralized broker. You can design how your namespace is in that sense. Unified namespace can accommodate to milliseconds. Yes, it can, depending on the underlying technology that you're using to build the unified namespace. As you can do it using MQTT.
Okay. So
Okay.
do we
And
have any question? All right. So we have another question. This one we collect from our form lah. Okay. By the way, for viewers, you can still ask question in the comment section. So the audience want to know. I would like to know the advancement of Raspberry Pi. So I think the progression lah, or the development of the Raspberry Pi. How does it?
If you look at the okay, I'm assuming this one is how advanced is Raspberry Pi now compared to when they launched it. So just maybe some history. When Raspberry Pi launched, it's actually a 32-bit single core processor. And that Raspberry Pi, if you have it and still have, it can still boot from 32-bit Raspberry Pi OS, even bootworm can still boot. I have one, and the SD card slot is really SD card, it's not micro SD card. And there is no HDMI output, they are using RCA, which is analog output. You need a old TV to display the desktop. We actually test it when bookworm is out. And the unit that we have is actually, I can remember because they launched in 2012. So come back to the question. From single core 32-bit, now it's quad core for Pi 5 and it's 64-bit. And from, I think that model is 256 megabyte of RAM only. Now it's up to 8 gigabyte of RAM. And Raspberry Pi 5 is comparable to the speed, the performance is comparable to entry level of entry level laptop. So you can really use it for daily job. You want to browse internet, or you want to do some media playing, that is without problem. And of course, now it's being used in industry. So I guess that is the advancement of Raspberry Pi. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ober. So we have some question also. This one continue from this question, namespace, same as cloud native namespace. So it's like logical domain, Mr. Sean.
yes, actually true. Unified namespace is actually just how you logically organize your namespace, your data in a way that is contextualized. Yeah. And it's usually on a central platform. Yeah.
Okay. And then we also got a question. How much is the price?
Depending on what module you are looking at, but if you are looking to have just a bare IIoT gateway, then most likely what you need is you can just get it directly from Cytron. They have a device called IIoT Pi Control. But if you
Yeah,
need to build,
yeah.
we will basically talk about that later on. But for the device of MACHHUB, we actually do not just sell the device itself. So what we have is actually a whole ecosystem for you to build your whole IIoT. It's actually an IIoT platform for you to build a whole digital architecture based on UNS. I'll share more on the details of how you build it, but the price is depending on which module you take.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. So we proceed on use case of Raspberry Pi in smart manufacturing. So Mr. Sean.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the role of Raspberry Pi in manufacturing. So basically, uh, based on last time how we do it, we usually have like something like CADware or those kind of software to interface with our device and actually put a very huge PC, those workstation or something like that beside the machine itself, right? And we put a long cable through the through a central maybe through Ethernet or something like that, or maybe use a remote gateway, right? And connect the device just to collect the data using CADware. And then maybe you use a central IIoT platform like maybe Ignition or like the ThingsWork, right? If you are using CADware, right? Usually it's with ThingsWork. And that is the thing is very big, right? Usually it's a whole big PC. So what Raspberry Pi to do is it can replace the PC itself, right? So the next slide is to replace all this part, right? And it can be how small, because like how Ober say, it's actually a single board and it's actually an expansion unit. So even with IRV or what Cytron have, right, it's actually didn't really mount. So we can actually mount into the device, into the panel, and it's very small. Yeah. So that is where you what is the role of of RPi, right? And what RPi can do, you can do data collection, data exchange, right? Like how you use with UNS. And you can even build SCADA with it, because you can just deploy a web SCADA, right? Or even use our platform to build, using our app builder to build our a SCADA, right? And you can have a historian on edge, and you can build this DCS control. You can use build HMI, build MES, anything you can think of actually, right? And yeah, so that is what RPi can do. And why do we need RPi? Because the difference between all other devices out there, right? There's many vendors out there, but for RPi, we have a very strong community. Raspberry Pi has very strong support throughout the community, and it's worldwide. It's not a niche thing, because you have the hobbyists that is supporting, and you also have the industry people that is using, which is also supporting the industry part, right? And it's highly customizable and flexible, like how Ober have explained. And it's open source. The board itself is actually open source. You can actually check for the design and make sure which part works what you need, right? And it's secure, because RPi is based on Linux-based system. Linux-based system is usually least being exploited in that case, right? And many servers out there right now is actually using Linux, right? And small form factor is very small, like you say, and it's also cheap, right? The device is just, you don't need to buy a very big PC around few thousand, 6,000, 7,000 just for a bare computer, right? And it's just a hardware, right? For RPi, it's within 1,000, right?
So we talk about why we're using Raspberry Pi. This is some benefits about Raspberry Pi. So now we have question about Raspberry Pi. Okay, we know that Raspberry Pi is known for the heating, especially Raspberry Pi 4 and Raspberry Pi 5. We need to use active cooling or the fan to cool the Raspberry Pi. So how does we overcome this in industry?
Actually, I think Sean experienced more lah.
Yeah.
From our side, we designed the IVF is IR 4.0 controller, and it's being used not only in manufacturing floor. One of the harsh environment is actually being used by one of our customer. If you guys go back to our previous live webinar, there is one SI doing solar farm ADA solution. So they use the IDF under the sun. Just imagine that they're under the sun, and it's running 24/7 without problem. So it depends on the design, in other words. So just now you're comparing with Pi 4 or Pi 5. So Pi 4, Pi 5, by default, it doesn't come with any heatsink. You need to add heatsink. So by adding heatsink, that's why you said, oh, it gets heat very fast, overheat. But actually, no. The industry controller that we design, we have designed in heatsink and proper heat dissipation. And for the certification, we have actually test the operating temperature. Environment temperature means you are under 60 degrees Celsius, you can run without water. It can actually go up to 80, but the clock speed will go down. But it's still running. It becomes slower, but it's still running.
Yeah,
So
I
actually,
can share a little bit on that as well.
yeah, you can share a bit.
Later on, I'll show you on a project that we have done. It's actually a very hot environment. It's beside a purging station, which is using very high heat steam and gas steam to basically build copper pipes, right? And in that environment, we built the panel even without fan, right? It still works. So it can handle very high heat, I would say, and with just sufficient ventilation, like a fan on your panel. Yeah, like this one. It's actually a very high heat environment, and this panel actually doesn't even have a fan, right? So and the IIV is inside, and it works just fine, right? And what you did maybe you just add a fan, it will be way better already, right? I would say.
In this kind of environment, I think the human shouldn't be there, right? That's why we need, Okay.
So we can conclude that I think like Mr. Ober said lah, if we compare to the commercial Raspberry Pi 4 and Raspberry Pi 5, the overheating issue is there. But in industry, we are using our customized board. So either by default, our Citron product or product from Mr. Sean. So we design, we can customize that it doesn't even have the same thermal performance like normal Raspberry Pi 4 or Raspberry Pi 5. So it's kind of robust and suitable for industrial use. So we have another question. Encountered situation where Raspberry Pi hangs during operation, and how do you resolve it? So, Mr. Sean, do
For
you
me,
ever?
based on my experience, not really. I do not have any. I have not encountered any situation of the Raspberry Pi hang. Most probably is how lean, depends on how lean your code is developed, and how clean is it lah, right? If it hangs, maybe some part of your code is very intense lah, right?
Yeah.
I think
We
another
do
one.
have. We do. I just share my experience with working with other customer also lah. So I agree with what Sean said. It depends on how we design the architecture inside the Raspberry Pi. In some cases, we do see the hang, but actually it's not hang. One example is they connect the Wi-Fi, they configure the Wi-Fi to become AP. You see? Then they open another node in Innovate to connect the Raspberry Pi Wi-Fi to their own router. So when they run, it become I connect to router, then I become hotspot. I want other to connect to me. So it become connect, disconnect, connect, disconnect. So people will say, hang, why hang? Actually, you need to disable one of it. What actually you want? You want to connect to your own router, or you want to become the hotspot? So that is one example. Another example is just now we also discussed about the OS corrupted in micro SD card. So if you use that, there is this case where they use micro SD card on Pi 5, Pi 4. Then after, because it's data logging, it's logging every few minutes or few seconds. So after 1 or 2 days, it have been how many thousand times of writing to the SD card already. Right. So we have a case where after 3 months, the SD card corrupted already. Then they said, oh, Raspberry Pi is not reliable. Actually, it's not Raspberry Pi, just the SD card. So that's why the compute module come with a more reliable solution for the storage, which is the eMMC. And now you have a choice to add in. If the eMMC is not enough, you can add SSD, MEME SSD. If you want 1 tera also, no problem. Okay. So hopefully I cleared some doubts.
I think the concern here, if you worried about Raspberry Pi hangs, also same for the next question is the example of real case industry use of Raspberry Pi with Sense Head. So basically, I think we can answer. I can answer this. Like in industry, we don't use commercial Raspberry Pi, so there's no commercial head for Raspberry Pi also in industry. So we customize the Raspberry Pi CM4 or CM5 to make our own industrial controller lah. So we can pass to Mr. Sean to show more example on what is the use case for Raspberry Pi, industrial Raspberry Pi, not commercial Raspberry Pi in industrial environment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So by using our platform, our MACHHUB, we actually deployed quite a lot of projects throughout. Only just this year, actually, this is just Q3, Q4 by itself, right? And we already is able to complete this much of project. So this is the first one, which is a copper manufacturer in Selangor. So we actually help them to revamp their existing SCADA system, which is built using Visual Basic 6, which is a very, very old technology. It is still running on a 97 PC. So so we actually convert the whole thing, we take out the PC, we just use another new panel and install the Raspberry Pi into it or MACHHUB into it. And we actually use, this is just built using Node-RED. So this looks a little bit janky or something like that, but it's fully customized using Node-RED and developed using Node-RED. And uses MACHHUB just to transfer data back to the ERP, right? So we actually integrated with SAP's ERP system on that, right? So this is another on the MACHHUB line oven data acquisition. So this is just a simple use case. It's a bakery manufacturer. So they have quite a lot of data point. If not mistaken, is around 14 temperature data that needs to be collected. So using our MACHHUB platform, they are just it's very easy to configure. So just say using Modbus, right, and then just read in through Node-RED, and we will just say we historize it into like maybe 1 second, one data, right, and then maybe retention for 1 year, something like that, right? So we also have the trending graph as well built into our system, right? So we actually interface with Omron PLC, Omron CM1 CP1E PLC, which is using RS222 host link, and easily you can get the libraries through open source. There's a lot out there. And we also use RS45 Modbus RTU to read Autonix TX4S temperature controller up to 12 pieces daisy chain, right? Actually, it's not 12. It's not basically it's 14. I think I have a typo here. Yeah. Yeah. So this is a very short project cycle. It just takes us around 2 weeks to set up everything, including the panel, wiring, and everything like that, right? And we have unlimited data points. MACHHUB H doesn't limit your data points, right? And you can even use analog input if you want. No, you want to use analog input can, and you can also use like other protocols like that. If you use the traditional chart recorder out there in the market, right, most of it are just analog only. So you can only just record analogs. But there is also protocols version, but it's very, very seldom, right? And there's also a unified namespace compatible. So MACHHUB is built to handle EUNS, right? So we help you handle everything about the data management. You just need to build your application. So this is what MACHHUB is strong in, right? Yeah. So yeah, talking about the last project, to add a single point or a new data point in MACHHUB or in using our system, it just takes like maybe 5 minutes. They can add a new data point. So not including the wiring, but you add a wiring, maybe it's just like 10 minutes. That's all. Yeah. So it's very fast. And yeah. So this is another project. So this is actually an automotive parts manufacturing. We actually do a full factory end-on and OEE solution for them. So it's fully connected, and they have even a centralized end-on system in their office, which listens to all their OEE in their end-on status in the plant floor, right? So we have a dashboard, a OE dashboard calculation, and we also customize two screens. One is for the operator to use. There is a touch screen, so we build a web touch screen. We use the touchscreen hardware, IPC, and we render. Then you can just click there. And we also have another add-on centralized screen which they will put on the TV, right? So we actually interface with two Mitsubishi PLCs and 9 Autonomous Ario remote I/O, because some of it is the PLC is quite old. There is no protocol. We need to connect through wiring, right? Yeah. So this is also completed, and this is the full solution. This is the architecture of it. So there is 7 stamping machine that is connected to our MACHHUB panels. We actually built a very standard panel for this situation. There's 7 stamping machines and 4 spot welding machine, and all is connected through Wi-Fi to a centralized UNS MACHHUB Enterprise, which is our centralized system, which will also show the centralized OEE dashboard. And the data is the whole UNS, because it's based on UNS, right? So when we have a centralized end-on system, which is on the top, that will just simply needs to say, I want to subscribe to every end-on events in the plant floor. And the good thing about it is you can build it in a way that is auto discovery. So next time I want to add another spot welding machine, you just need to push the data into UNS. That's all. The centralized will automatically know it. It will just add into the dashboard and it will automatically generate. And the latency of this from a stamping machine, for example, end-on stamping machine, to the centralized end-on panel on the top, right? That is in millisecond delays. So once you click, you will see directly it's like the red light will blink together, on together. Yeah. So this is how fast it can get. It actually passed through 3 layers of UNS. Even in the device, each device itself has a UNS. So for you to exchange between your applications. So this is
and Sean, and the device is connected to internet or wireless.
We are using Wi-Fi. So most of the factory right now, a lot of them, they don't want to connect to the cloud, but it's possible to do that as well. So another way is with that, your MACHHUB Enterprise in your factory floor can also bridge to another MACHHUB Enterprise on the cloud. You can even build like that. Or even if you say, I don't want a MACHHUB Enterprise, I just want to use a standardized broker or something like that. You can just deploy an MQTT broker at cloud, and you just use a UNS bridge to bridge the enterprise up to the cloud broker. And you have your organization level of UNS. Yeah, so this is the hardware itself. Internally, it's just very simple. MACHHUB Enterprise, MACHHUB Edge, connected to have a Wi-Fi, have a buzzer, have a just 4 relays, 1 power supply, and MCB with a tower light. That's all. It's a very simple panel.
I noticed you extend the Wi-Fi antenna out.
Yeah. I think that is way better because when we put it up, the signal strength is very strong. Yeah.
That also show the customization. You can. Yeah. It's very flexible lah. You cannot do it with Pi 4, Pi 5. The commercial board lah.
Yeah, you can't build a very industry standard panel if you are using the traditional RPi 4 or RPi 5. With CM4 and CM5, you can customize boards like this, which suits to your own industry. It doesn't need to be manufacturing industry. It can be any other industry that you have a specific needs. So I'll share about how what is our experience when we do customization with Cytron, and how this thing is coming out, what requirement we give on that, right? Yeah. So with this setup, is basically this whole project is just completed in 2 months. It's a very short, for a lot of project out there, is considered very short to deploy systems like this. And we also integrate with ERP, so through UNS, so it's very fast and it's very easy to replicate. You just need to build the panel, set up MACHHUB, which just take like around within half an hour. You can actually set up a MACHHUB, link it back to the UNS. So I would say depends on the stock of your product or the hardware. It will just take 1 to 2 weeks. Then you can build that thing out, right? And it's very customizable. Yeah. Right now we actually customize the UI using Node-RED as well, customized screen. But in MACHHUB, very soon we will have an app builder, which you can have a drag and drop system as well as code at the site. So you can use both code and non-code, low code or no code, right? And we will actually build it in VSC, Visual Studio Code, right? Yeah.
Mm.
So, and low latency, lifetime data synchronization. This is what UNS is very strong. We have sub-seconds delay. We can do it like that and allow real-time update between systems lah. So you maybe you can don't even need a DCS system. You can just use this to just send information or synchronize your manufacturing, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have
So
another question. What skills needed to set up this system?
I would say this kind of system, depending how complicated you need lah, right? But it's actually very easy lah. It's just some settings, right? Just except for the customized screen, maybe you need to have some knowledge of how web development is done. But other than that, if you are using MACHHUB, the networking side or the data synchronization side is already built for you. So what you need is just build your application, link it to tag, and you just say which tag you want to you synchronize to, or more like share to the upper stream broker. That's all. So it's a fairly simple process, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Sean, for the sharing. Right. So question. So this one, I think we have a simple question. How do we link physical device to IoT gateway?
Yeah. So depending on what physical device you are looking for, but in the market right now, or in our manufacturing side, what you usually have is sensors, controllers, what else? PLCs, right? So for controllers and PLC, most likely you are using protocols, or you can use physical hard wires, which uses a IoT gateway to actually access the to expand the IO lah, right? And for sensors, you can actually you can also use similar ways lah. The good thing about what what IIV have, as well as MACHHUB has, is we have both digital input, 4 digital inputs isolated and 4 digital output isolated, as well as analog inputs, which a lot of them doesn't have. Right. So we have 4 analog inputs as well, which also support voltage and current inputs. So that is how usually you can connect to the IoT gateway. It can, for other gateway, I think depends on the hardware always, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So we have another question with Sebastian Ryan. Hi. So hi,
Hi.
welcome to the webinar. Okay. So you can ask anything in the comment section. Okay. And then another one, can I get detailed info of MACHHUB? So where
Yeah,
can
sure,
customer
sure.
find?
Currently we are revamping our website, so it will be updated soon on our website. I think Citron can share about our website, or you can just search for Intellogic Technology, right?
Mm,
But
right.
I will share a little bit more details about our product at the end of this session, right?
Okay. At the end of this session, okay, don't forget
Yeah.
to stay. Okay. So the UNS can accommodate real-time data exchange for 24/7 heavy-duty manufacturing.
Yeah, definitely. I would say heavy duty situation is not a problem. The hardware can accept a very high heat as well as a very high situation. 24/7 definitely, because it's just a PC, so you don't need human intervention. Machines can work
Mhm,
24/7, just like AIs.
mhm. Okay. So this one is the continue from the skill. What skill need set up this system? So in short, web development skill, HTML, Figma, networking skill, Linux skill. Is it correct?
Yeah, Linux skill you may not need, but if you want to have fully more customization in your environment itself, yeah, surely if with Linux skill you will be able to do more. But I would say web development skill and networking skill would be sufficient.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So thank you, Mr. Sean, for the knowledge sharing. So next, we're going to our Citron industrial controller. Okay. Raspberry
Ah,
Pi IR 4.0 industrial controller, iRif Pi control, and iRif IO controller. So let's welcome Mr. Ober.
yep, sure. Thanks, Kuyum. So I'll be fast for this because we have been talking about this for all the webinar that we have. But anyway, just to highlight, we beside the identify control, we actually have the identify IOC. So this slide actually show the identify control, where on the right you see the bottom of the PCB and the case. Then at the bottom is actually the top PCB of the identify control, and there's a lot of interface port that is being hidden inside the case. So one example is actually IDF can support if you guys wanted to have 4G module, 4G connection. There is no network over there at your field, at your site. You can add 4G module and a SIM card, and you can have internet already. And beside that, for example, just now I said, if the eMMC is not enough, you want to add storage, there is a slot, M.2 slot, for you to add the MEME SSD. So we have tried up to 2 tera, but I don't think you need 2 tera for industry to collect the data at the edge. Normally, if you have that much of data, we also recommend you to put at the cloud. Let's say something happened to your edge device, then your data is lost. So that is identify control. The next, I think, is IOC, right? William.
Next slide, we have Arif IOC.
IOC is basically IO controller, we call it. It's being controlled, is or powered by the Raspberry Pi, what we call the microcontroller. And this is the latest microcontroller 2350, dual core ARM or dual core RISC-V processor. Okay, and you can do it as a standalone controller, or by default it's being loaded by is being loaded with a program which is remote IO. You can control or read the input and output of the IOC through the RS Wi-Fi Modbus RTU. Okay, and you can program using Arduino IDE, C++, C alike, Circuit Python, MicroPython also can. So support quite a lot of programming language if you want to make it as a controller. So this is the ecosystem that we have. The identify control as the controller at the edge. Then you can connect. For example, Sean just now said, if there is a lot of devices and identify control doesn't have sufficient I/O to connect to, you can expand using the IRIF IOC, or you can make it as a standalone for a small task. Yep. Next. So this is some of the comparison between IRIF control and IRIF IOC IO controller. Okay. So one is it comes with OS. Another one is what we call bare metal. And of course, the price also cheaper. Okay, next. This example, if we put two together, on the left-hand side, the most left is actually identify control, and beside it is actually the IOC, identify IOC, which is smaller, but the length or the height is similar. So that is our new product, identify IOC. Identify control has been out for nearly a year, I think. Nearly a year plus. Yeah. Next. So if anyone interested to talk to us about design and customization, please contact us. I think we have a form at the back, right? Or you can contact Patron support team, no problem. Next, and see, we are working with Intellogic for this customization also. So Sean will share later. So you can talk to us. You just click the link there, Industrial Meet and Greet. Then you can talk to us. So I'll be one of the person that talk to you. Then our head of technical, Mr. Kong, will be there, and our industrial PD, business development, will be there also. Welcome to talk to us. Design and customization service, we also provide white label. So for example, the MACHHUB is under this program. So we white label, put the logo of Intellogic or MACHHUB at this dedicated site. Again, welcome to talk with us. So I pass back to Sean.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'll share a little bit more of our company and our product, as well as what is our experience with working with Cytron, right? Okay. So yeah. So who we are and what we do. Intellogic. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we are a Malaysian-based industrial digital solution provider. So we actually build products for to build basically for our manufacturing industry, right? As well, it's actually for application development and also for data engineering. This is what we focus on, and we build for manufacturers, SI, and software developers as well. Yeah, so we have strong experience in OT and IT. We actually built quite a lot of machine as well. So previously we are actually a SI company lah. We also build machines, right? So we also strive to empower you guys, right? In more efficiency stuff, right? So we are also a member of FMM as well as ETG, Intellogic Technology Group, as well as we are actually a MSP, managed service partner of Not Layers. It's a VPN service for businesses, right? Yeah. So next. Yeah. So I'll share more about our products. Basically, MACHHUB. What is next? Yeah. Yeah. So MACHHUB, what is MACHHUB? MACHHUB is actually a IIoT platform, right? Which we will simplify your data management for you, right? We have multiple modules that you can actually use interface with, like the OE engine, the recipe management, data acquisition, and also historian and all that kind of tools that you can actually modules that you can purchase for you to simplify your application development as well. And we support Node-RED ecosystem, which we suggest use for integration side. Application, it will have some kind of problem, right? But right now we are still using it for UI. But we are coming out with the app builder very soon, which will be you can build application in there while just synchronize the data using Node-RED, right? Just capture your physical data through Node-RED and pump it to the the tag system, and you'll be able to read it, right? And your tag can be organized in a hierarchical tag manner, which means you can build it to comply to ISA 95 Part 2, enterprise organization, site area, line cell, right? You can organize in that sense, right? And that is why your UNS can be built, right? And we also include the hardware if you get the MACHHUB Edge, right? So our pricing is in that sense, right? And there is Node-RED API, MQTT API, REST API, and JavaScript API for you to build your application and interface with our MACHHUB system and data tagging system, right? And there is high-speed data transfer between systems because we use tag synchronization, MQTT, right? So and you can subscribe to publish to any topic or any data on MACHHUB, depending on you want to with access controller, right? To in any component of your MACHHUB, right? Enterprise or Edge, right? Okay, next. Yeah, so we have two components, Edge and Enterprise. Okay, next. And this is the hardware. The hardware details I will not go through. Is basically we have gone through in the whole webinar, and there is go back first a little. Okay, so that we have the MACHHUB Edge runtime in it, and you have unlimited tags and data point. We do not limit that, and you can use for especially human machine interface or a SCADA control, or you want to have it in your MES as a MES system inbuilt in your machine. If you are a machine builder, you can also do that, right? Yeah. Next. Yeah, so MACHHUB Enterprise is on a higher level, which you can actually synchronize there and build your factory or site or organization-wide application. So it's like MES system or a centralized SCADA system or something like that. You can just build it using MACHHUB Enterprise. And we have a MQTT broker inbuilt with UNS management system, as well as you can manage all your MACHHUB edges in the enterprise. So you can see all the status of your edge. Is it connected to your centralized or is it disconnected and something like that, right? So you can just debug based on that, and you can actually build factory-wide MES system, build your own unified namespace, even AI data ingestion pipeline. You can build a pipeline just to ingest data to your AI and pump up out the insights of your AI, right? And you can also build customer-facing application for your customer to use, like order or something like that, right? A whole platform just to order, drop an order for you, something like that, right? Yeah. So that is MACHHUB Enterprise, right? The architecture is on the next slide. Yeah. So this is the system architecture that you can build. If you have a manual process, right, then you can have like a HMI or phone or using a phone or using a tablet, right, to key in to interface with MACHHUB, your application, I would say, right. And if you have a legacy PLC or legacy system, you can connect through our IIoT gateway as well. Or you have like a very IoT ready one. You just want to pump the data to your UNS, then you can just directly pump into your MACHHUB Enterprise easily, right? And MACHHUB Enterprise, you can build your application there, and also it will host your UNS, as well as if you want to connect to your ERP system off the shelf CMS, you can just simply connect to it lah. Sorry, I think. Sorry about that.
Okay.
I'll mute
It's
myself.
okay. Alright. So for the meantime, we have one question. Okay, we have one question. What is the MOQ for the customization? Okay.
Talk to us.
Yeah,
Talk to
please
us.
feel free to contact us, meet and greet.
We would like to meet you.
Okay. So I think it's Mr. Sean. Okay, we have one more.
Yeah. If you can forgive me of the sound, the government sent someone here to loudspeaker me.
So there is external sound lah. It's from
Yeah,
from some
it's
car
actually from the government lah, I would say. Yeah. So
okay.
yeah, they
It's
drive
okay.
car
We
here.
can still hear.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay, yeah. So I'll kind of brief the last slide. So basically with MACHHUB, right, this ecosystem, because we actually is app builder, right? So you can actually build it for example, if you are a machine maker, right, you can just have one single MACHHUB page and interface with your machine and ship it with your to your customer, right? And you have like a whole MES system or application on there or HMI. Then you can access like through phone or through website or through the internet. And if you are a system integrator, then probably you will have a centralized UNS to propose to your customer. So you can just buy multiple age and enterprise. And let's say you are a manufacturer, you want the whole solution. They can even have another MACHHUB enterprise on your organization level or on the cloud, right? So this is so MACHHUB can actually fit to all the use case in that sense.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Sean, for the sharing session. So actually, we almost reaching the end of our webinar. So we have a couple slides to share. So for all the viewers, feel free to ask anything. So even though we reaching the end, we will answer. We will try to answer all of your questions. So don't worry. Okay. So next customization experience with Cytron.
Yep.
Okay, we have one question. Example of smart IoT device for connecting smart IoT for connecting the device. I think he talking about the controller lah, industrial controller. Example of the smart industrial controller for connecting device.
Not really sure what's the question. Smart controller, there is a lot Like so for example, MACHHUB is one, IDU is one, even IOC is one of it.
Okay, we have one question from our viewers. How do you address cybersecurity risks like unauthorized access or software vulnerabilities when using Raspberry Pi in smart manufacturing?
Yeah, for this, I would say it's depending on how you build your architecture. So, for example, if you are using, you are hosting a server on Raspberry Pi, then there will be a risk that people will be able to access it. So usually people will have a firewall on that before your plant floor, which doesn't allow inbound connection. Basically, people connecting to your device. rather than your device connecting up. But then if you are using a traditional way of connecting, right, without using UNS, right, the biggest problem is you need an inbound connection to be able to access that data. So for UNS, or we are using MQTT, so it's actually a publish subscribe model. The good thing about that is you only have outbound connection. So we connect to a broker and we publish the data up. So your connection is outbound, it's not inbound. So then it will be able to go through firewall to publish your data, right? So it will be very safe. People is unable to connect to you, right? And the only thing is just the access control on that UNS. Yeah. So that is the only place that you need to control. It's like a firewall.
Okay. Talking about the firewall, if I may add, do you yourself provide the service to install the firewall, or this is from the customer side, or the firewall comes with the package of your service?
Yeah, if we are if you need us to do your projects, definitely we are able to provide project services as well. We can help you to deliver the whole project. We just earn the margin, right? And yeah, we will be able to provide you the firewall solution as well, cybersecurity level, as well as even if you want to go through the cloud, but you don't want to put your data on the cloud, you can use a VPN service because we are actually working with not layers. So we can also deploy uh, VPN service for you as well.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. Another question: how about CM4, CM5 cooling system for industrial usage, for example,
Uh,
or no need to use?
no need actually. So for industry, I have shared just now. I believe a lot of people have been using it without any problem of too hot. No problem. Actually, it can be stand up to 60 degrees Celsius. That is being tested in lab. We have sent to the lab to make sure that it can at least. But in some cases, like Sean just now showed, you can go back to what we shared just now. Sean said in the manufacturing where the copper pipe, right, Sean?
Mm.
So it's
Yeah,
I believe it's hotter than 60 degrees Celsius.
it's around. I would say it's, I think around 70 to 80 degrees. Where you touch,
Yeah,
you will feel your hand burning,
yeah,
but it still works fine actually. If you, with a proper ventilation system, it will be very
yeah,
cold,
yeah,
I
yeah,
would say.
yeah. So so don't compare with Pi 5 or Pi 4 like just now. No, Pi 5 or Pi 4 is the conventional or commercial Raspberry Pi 4 Model B,
Mhm.
Model B. So for IVIF or a lot of industrial controller based on Raspberry Pi CM, CM4, CM5, they will have a proper heat dissipation, proper heat sink. And most of those are passive. Passive means there is no fan. Why? Because fan, you need to maintain it. After 1 year, it will break down. Then you need to replace the fan. So we don't like it like this. We don't want to, after 1 year, you need to replace the fan. After every year, you need to replace another fan. So we will do a
Uh,
maintenance free kind of heat dissipation.
I would say it's a little bit different. Basically, the mindset of industry, what we do is we dissipate we just need to transfer the heat out and then we cool it through the panel, right?
Yep, yep,
So most
yep.
of them is rather than like building a PC, is much more like a controller. So if you see a PLC or something like that, right, it doesn't have any
Yeah,
fans. It's just
yep,
passive cooling.
yep.
Okay, thank you for the question and for the answer. So we go back to our slides around here. Okay, so we're going to share. We at Cytron also promoting a workshop or training on how we're going to use our industrial controller, iRif by Control. So let's watch a short video. Does the sound? Can you guys can hear the sound? Oh, okay. No sound. Oh,
But I believe we have on YouTube or
this one is
TikTok.
on YouTube.
Short lah, YouTube short. Right.
Around 1 minute lah. So this is showing our past workshop this year actually 2024. We give the workshop in our HQ at Penang, and also we can go through to your place. Okay, we do workshop at your place. For example, we go to HGV Pro Data at KL, and also many more companies that want us to conduct the training at their place lah. Okay, and our training also HRDC claimable. Okay, so you don't need to worry if you want to apply for the training, so you can claim this HRDC. Okay, so alright. So this is our training. Our training, one kit with the hardware, the enclosure, and all assembled. Okay. So for at HQ, we have two type of training. One at the HQ, one at our customer place. So at our HQ, we set a date or slot. So currently we already set for 2025 Q1. Okay. We have 23 January, 20 February, 20 March. Okay. So you can register in the chat. We provide you with a Google form. We will provide you the slide, and then you can access our product page lah, okay, for the training. And then for on-site training or training at your place, we set an MOQ of three set of the training kit. Okay, so the price here, including the training, including all the kits, the kit is yours. Okay. So this is our training, and this is basically a kind of a basic training for get to know on our industrial controller. If you want more in-depth advanced training, you can go to SHRDC. Okay, Selangor HRDC, they provide a very comprehensive training using our controller. Okay, so here a couple of example. Okay, so this is at KL. Okay, we go to train at their place. So this is, I think, nine participant. They want to use iReef to connect to all PLC, all machine that doesn't have internet connectivity. So they want to learn on how to pass the data to the iReef, and then iReef pass the data to the internet. Okay, and then we also have this one at our HQ. Okay, so another benefit the training at our HQ, you can have a factory visit. Okay, you can visit our factory, have a factory tour, go around. What you can see our production line, our office. Okay, so this is in our HQ. Right. So I think that's all. Okay, that's all for today's webinar. Okay, so if anybody interested, you can register in the form. Okay, for the newsletter, we will provide you. We will share you the slide, and then you can access every materials, every links in the slide. Okay, and you can also ask us anything. Okay, at the Citron or Intellogic, and you can email. You can email to us. Okay, so don't be shy. All right. Okay, so I think that's all for today's webinar. Mr. Ober or Sean, do you have anything to add?
Nothing from me. Yeah.
Mm.
I will say, yeah, feel free to contact us. I'll probably drop my email in the slides as well. Probably email and
Sure.
maybe my LinkedIn profile. Yeah, so that you can contact me. If you want to know more about MACHHUB and the pricing itself, yeah, feel free to drop by as well if you want, or you just want to have a short call. Just let me know. I'll definitely talk to you guys. Yeah,
Okay.
you can go on.
Thank you. Nothing for me also. But to
Okay.
aim for, just now I saw the numbers 3,000, right? 3,000 or 30,000 factory by 2030.
2030 by
3,000.
2030.
So we
2030.
need to work harder.
Yeah.
We need to work harder.
Yeah. Let's work harder together.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks,
So
thanks, thanks, everyone.
thank you for viewers. Okay, thank you everyone.
Thank you,
Right.
thanks
So
everyone.
this
Bye.
live also will be recorded in our social media, Facebook and YouTube. So you can watch replay if you miss anything. Okay, if you want to replay anything, you can watch our YouTube Citron YouTube channel. Okay,
Hey.
right. So I think that's all from us. Okay, so have a good day, everyone. So we see you on our next webinar. Okay, so that's all
Hey.
from us. Thank you.